Miss Kathy, and Dot.
No. No. A sword for the Lord and for Gideon!
Oh, well, excuse me, Miss Kathy. Could I ask you a question, please?
Hi, Dot. Of course you can ask me a question.
Well, I was wondering, I was watching you just now, and I don't quite understand exactly what you were doing.
Me? I'm pretending to be a warrior with Gideon.
Gideon? Is that someone you know?
Well, I don't know him like I know you, but I have read his story in the Old Testament in Judges chapters 6 through 8. And he led a small army against a gigantic armies, two of them. We are going to defeat the Midianites and the Amalekites.
Goodness, well, that sounds quite dangerous.
Yes, but we have a secret weapon.
We do? What is it?
God has promised Gideon that he will give us a victory, and we can trust God. In fact, that's the heart of today's lesson. I can trust God. Would you kids like to learn that? I can trust God. Dot, would you like to say that with us?
I'll try.
Okay. I can trust God. Very good.
Well, I have another question, Miss Kathy. If you trust God, why are you blowing on those horns?
Well, I need to tell you a little bit more about Gideon's story to explain the horn part. Would you like to hear it?
Yes, I would, actually.
Okay. So Gideon and his family were farmers. And when they would go to work with their wheat, the Midianites would come and steal it all, so they had no food.
That's horrible.
So one day, when Gideon was working with his wheat, he was hiding so they wouldn't take it away from him. And an angel of the Lord appeared to him.
What did the angel say?
The angel said, "Go rescue Israel from the Midianites and the Amalekites. I am sending you. The Lord is with you, mighty warrior."
Well, what did Gideon do?
He did exactly what the angel told him to do because he trusted God. But he wanted to be sure, so he asked God for a sign.
A sign? Oh, you mean like a stop sign or a no parking sign?
No. Gideon took some wool from a lamb and he laid it down and he asked God to make the wool wet and the rest of the ground around the wool dry. And that night he went to bed. And in the morning, when he woke up, the fleece was wet. But the ground all around it was dry.
That's exactly the sign he asked for.
Yes, but then he asked God for a second sign. This time, he asked God to leave the wool dry and make the ground wet all around the wool. So that night he went to sleep. And when he woke up, the ground all around his fleece was wet, but the fleece itself was dry.
Wow, that's exactly the sign he asked for a second time. Well, what happened next? Did Gideon ask God for a big beehive full of honey?
No.
Well, I think I might have done that.
Next, Gideon gathered his Israelite army, but God said he had too many men. God wanted Gideon to trust him and to give him a miraculous victory. That way, God would get all the glory.
How many soldiers did God allow Gideon to have?
That's a good question, Dot. Kids, how many soldiers do you think God let Gideon have? Those are good answers. God let Gideon have 300 soldiers against hundreds and thousands of Amalekites and Midianites.
Wow, 300 is not very many. What happened next?
That's where the horns come in. God told Gideon to give each one of his soldiers a trumpet, a torch, and a jar.
Those are very strange weapons, Miss Kathy.
Yes, but this is what God told him to give all of his army. And then he told them to hide at the top of the mountain where in the valley the enemy soldiers were, to surround them at the top of the mountain. And then he told them to break their jars, light their torches, and blow on their trumpets. Would you like to try to blow on this trumpet, Dot?
Well, I could try to be one of Gideon's soldiers.
Yes. Would you kids like to try to be one of Gideon's soldiers and blow on the trumpet? You would? Okay, put it up here with your hand. And I'll hold Dot's. Okay, Dot, go ahead. Wow, Dot. Wow, Grace kids. That was wonderful trumpet blowing.
Oh, thank you, Miss Kathy. Well, it was nothing really. But what happened next?
The enemy armies panicked. And then they started to fight each other. And then the ones that didn't get killed ran off. God gave Gideon a mighty victory. And it was because they trusted God. And the stories like this remind me that I can trust God too.
It sounds to me like, well, this is just my opinion, but God rescued Israel again.
Dot, you're right. And that reminds me of this month's memory verse about how God rescues us. Do you remember the verse?
I think I do. Is it Psalm 13, verse 5?
Yes, Dot, that's very good.
Thank you.
Do you remember the memory verse? Some of you said you did. Let's all say it together. Psalms 13:5. But I will trust in your unfailing love. I will rejoice, for you have rescued me.